There's reasons YouTube has podcasts now, and there's reasons you need to know why. Good morning, everyone. Gil has a great question. What is the advantage of YouTube podcasts versus Apple Podcasts? Meaning, what's the advantage of turning my existing YouTube interviews into podcasts instead of simply downloading the audio, converting it to MP3, and then putting it onto another podcast platform? My name's Corrado, and I'm your personal YouTube and audience growth coach. Let's tackle this. So I've been working directly with YouTube and one of the largest podcasters to launch YouTube podcasts. So I'm actually legitimately super excited to talk about what podcasting actually means for your channel. I also found the research papers on what the world is defining as podcast use and what this means for the podcast ecosystem, and ultimately what this means for you and how you should use podcasts. There's one important thing that needs to be laid out, and it happened on November 12th, 2015. Important thing number one. Google has an empire of products: Gmail, Photos, Drives, Google Maps, Google Podcasts, YouTube, of course, and their entire Play series like Google Play Music, books, games, movies, and so much more. As you know, Google is always optimizing how things work. And when something works, they expand on it. And when something doesn't, they delete it. I'm looking at you, Google+. Google Play Music was its own thing. It was its own app, it was its own website, but Google was in competition with itself, and it was losing. Instead of people using Google Play Music, most people just went to YouTube to listen to songs and albums, because why not? You're already on YouTube, and the music is already there, so why bother going to another app? Google saw the writing on the wall, and on that day, November 12th, 2015, Google introduced YouTube Music and shut down Google Play Music. Essentially, they merged the two products. There's also Google Play Movies, which we saw, where you can buy or rent movies, but you can do that directly on YouTube now. So with YouTube Podcasts now, it's only a matter of time until Google Podcasts is shut down and YouTube Podcasts starts to grow the exact same way that YouTube Music is growing in popularity after they shut down Google Play Music. The super important thing to understand with this is that YouTube is already a giant, and it's quickly becoming the ultimate destination for video and audio entertainment. There's a three-way battle happening on the audio front between YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. YouTube is winning in video. Spotify is winning in music. And Apple are winning in podcasts. Or are they? YouTube says they're chipping away at both of them. But are they? Here's where the research papers come into play. Important thing number two. YouTube's been saying they've been number two in the podcast space for quite a while. And even recently, they've been saying they've been number one. This is from Todd. Todd is the product lead for YouTube. And Todd has had 1,444 tweets. Todd, those are rookie numbers. You got to add a zero to that at least. But it's not YouTube who came up with that number. It's actually from this report right here. Oh, wait. This is just a piece of paper saying if you have your own YouTube questions to leave it in the comments below. I don't know how that got there. This is the paper, the Cumulus Media Report. Go through the report all the way to the middle on page 47, where it shows who's leading in the podcast space over the years. In 2019, Apple is leading with a whopping 38%, then YouTube with 33% market share, Spotify with 30%, and Google Podcasts at 19%. In 2020, YouTube takes the lead at 38%, followed by Apple. They drop to second, Spotify, and then Google Podcasts takes their spot at the bottom. And then in 2021, Apple soars back to the top with 42%. Spotify claims second place, and YouTube takes third with Google Podcasts at the bottom. It's like musical chairs. So that was the 2021 report. Looking at the 2022 report from the same people, on page 32, it says that since 2019, YouTube and Spotify are growing new, keyword here being new, audiences at the expense of Apple. This tells us that YouTube and Spotify should continue to grow and Apple should continue to shrink. On page 40, it's showing that the watchable podcasts are the key driver of where people are going to watch and listen to podcasts, which also makes sense since Spotify released video a few years ago. So out of all of the people who would rather watch a podcast, 55% say that YouTube is their preferred platform to consume podcasts. So, where's YouTube today? The updated 2022 stat shows YouTube as number 1, Spotify, then Apple, which has now dropped to 18%, which is a huge drop from 2019, where Apple was number 1 with 38%. There's also the second stat from the Triton Digital Podcast Metrics that shows the same order of market share. YouTube being number 1, then Spotify, then Apple. This lines up with the other data we've seen where YouTube is number 1. Also, Todd here isn't making numbers up, and this data all lines up with the increasing number of people interested in watching podcasts with video, or as Todd says, vodcasts. Also, quick math shows that these numbers don't add up to 100%, which means there's about 30% market share that goes to other platforms like Google Podcasts. Also, to anyone saying podcasts are dead? So, to go back to your question, Gil, one reason to use YouTube Podcasts is that it's growing. And when Google eventually closes down Google Podcasts, right? Like, how could they not? They closed down Google Play Music to go to YouTube Music. Surely they're going to close down Google Podcasts to go to YouTube Podcasts. Like, how could they not? All those audiences will go back into the ecosystem, and they should, in theory, prioritize YouTube, which would bump YouTube way ahead of Spotify and Apple. But wait, there's more. Everything's connected, and everything sucks at the moment. Important thing number 3. All right, so clearly YouTube is taking the lead on being the destination for podcasts. And more people are wanting video with their podcasts. So everything is pointing to YouTube, and all the data shows this. So what about the YouTube experience? Yeah, it sucks. and YouTube even knows it. Even on calls with them discussing podcasts, YouTube says that the interface isn't great, but that it's still launching and there's a lot that they're going to do to make it better. And to be fair, it isn't even available in Canada yet, at least at the time of filming this. So YouTube is gearing up to tackle one of the biggest problems with podcasting, and that's discoverability. And if there's one thing YouTube excels at, it's showing people things they are interested in looking at. We are at the beginning of a potential boom in podcast discoverability. Much like Shorts, podcasts will be integrated into YouTube with their own unique look and feel, which will create a better viewing and listening experience for everyone. And they're expanding this whole experience rapidly. Sections are going to exist on the shelves like the YouTube homepage, just like there is a shelf for Shorts. Podcast content will start to appear differently in the search results. There's already a dedicated section on channel pages. So podcast discoverability is going to skyrocket. And important thing number 4, you might not know this, but YouTube Podcasts is already seamlessly integrated with YouTube Music. Checking that podcast button puts your podcast into the growing part of YouTube, and it puts it right into YouTube Music and into YouTube Music specialized audio experience. Honestly, it's just wins all across the board. Now, according to the reports, we've seen that Apple is in 3rd place and is slowly declining. Spotify is in 2nd place. YouTube's taken the lead. Audio-only podcasts is declining. Video podcasts are going up. Podcast consumption is going up. Podcast consumption's going up. And checking that podcast box on YouTube puts you into the discoverability machine that is YouTube. And it syncs with YouTube Music. And it's safe to say that YouTube is heavily investing in the podcast space. I mean, sure, Spotify is. They did add video. And sure, Apple probably is as well. But this discoverability metric is going to be a game changer in the space. So, Gil, what's the advantage? You should absolutely continue to download your MP3s and put them everywhere you want. There's audiences on all those platforms. You should totally take advantage of it. But you should definitely still put this up on YouTube and check that box because you're going to get all these advantages. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to watch this video here, which dives into all the other aspects of YouTube monetization, specifically on Shorts and how that works because it's not super obvious. So thanks for watching. And as always, leave your questions and comments below. Thanks.